you really don't wanna release your song October 3rd because it's my birthday. No, but it's you don't wanna release your song October 3rd because it's Taylor Swift's new album release day. And people think this is a joke, but it's really not. This works on a couple layers, right? So, obviously, like, pop artists just do not release on October 3rd, full stop. But even artists I work with in weird niche genres who are like, "Well, I make, black metal. Nothing I do it touches the Taylor Swift fan base." Like, I see some of those labels moving release dates because the dialogue is gonna be so massive around her on that day that it's just gonna, like, screw up all of music press. And so and it's on a scale kind of different from almost anyone else, I think, where it's like, "Oh, this is going to just completely wreck the algorithm." Like, really, you could say that for, like, pretty much all the top 10 artists on Spotify. Taylor, in particular, has, like, this cultish fan base who's extremely online, you know? But there's also sort of a larger point here that's, like, when you're mapping out your release dates, you know, you can look up upcoming release dates in your genre, and you might wanna, like, try to avoid those because let's say you're doing a mask band who sound kind of like Sleep Token, and you know the Sleep Token release day is October 17th. Do you really think releasing on Sleep Token Day is a good idea? This is something to look out for, but I think Taylor Swift in particular is gonna be a cultural phenomenon that we, like, will blow minds.
Okay,
That's what I got.
I counter argument
Mm.
because I don't see it for smaller artists. Like the way I look at it is the general consensus is you don't release right after Christmas or the first week of January.
Sure.
There's nobody right. So
Don't
my
release on
thing is
holidays.
always
I
release on
and
those. Re-
the old music business advice was Thanksgiving to January 21st
yeah, you
was what
just don't. And but here's the thing: spaces. Where are you competing in spaces? So where's Taylor Swift competing that you're competing with? And I think there's obviously arguments to be made that press, radio, especially if you're in the pop space, yeah, it's gonna be tough. But if you're a metal band, you know, especially if everybody's having the conversation of like, hey, let's not release around this time, I'd be like, well, those editorial playlists gotta have something new on them. So why can't it be my metal band?
Yeah, and I wonder if so many people will be avoiding releasing on Taylor Swift Day that there'll actually be ironically less competition on
Right?
that day in some way, but, like, not if you're, like, a Taylor Swift sound-alike artist or something, but, like, metal, punk, or something where very small percentage of your audience overlaps. Would it possibly even be a better day to release?
there's a very interesting phenomenon that's happening right now that I could tie this to, which is a lot of people are talking about how this August has had some of the most best releases of the year. And it used to be that no one really released in July and August a lot of time. You also avoided that there. The general music business wisdom used to be the first week of June was your last week of release because you wanted people to still be in college and spread the word. But what it seems like is like a lot of these buzz artists like Dijon, Nina Giraci, Kim J, Quadeca all released recently, and it's like there's not a lot of oxygen being taken up by other releases, and I think that there's an argument for it.
It's definitely an interesting one because I definitely always used to tell artists, there was a real argument to be made for releasing, like, December 1 through 10 and January, like, 6 through 20 because there was so little else going on, but you also sometimes see that really backfire. The holiday thing in particular, I think people feel like people don't care about holidays or they have nothing to do, but, like, you see something like Baroness when they were, like, right at their right reaching a level, dropped a record, like, December 28th, and nobody heard it.
I mean, the big argument today would be you're not gonna get on Spotify Wrapped very likely. You're gonna take days away from your Spotify Wrapped, and you're gonna miss all the end of the year lists, which is also why a lot of people don't do this, is that, like, both those things are highly I mean, I don't know about you guys' listening habits, but, like, in general, once that Wrapped and the end of the year lists go up, I'm gonna be listening to playlists and checking out a lot of the things of people I respect.
Absolutely. But I was thinking about this because I think you have a good point, Dustin, that like, yeah, an artist from a far outside genre might not have might not have the same negative impact. But I almost feel like Taylor Swift in particular is almost like Star Wars, where it's like so big that it's kind of different. Like I feel like if you had dropped a song the day the first like reboot Star Wars movie came out, like you kind of probably would have been boned.
I
I,
do
I think
think
the
that
thing with
in
Taylor Swift is like gonna dominate every social media site. Like
yes.
Yeah.
even when she bought her catalog back, every other post on Threads was just talking about Taylor Swift. Either people shitting on her, like, oh, like talking about how they hate that she's a billionaire and there's no ethical billionaires, blah, blah, blah. Or from the perspective, oh, Taylor's so awesome. She bought back her catalog. I love her so much. I'm glad she's a billionaire. Right. There's like all this discussion happening everywhere. And it's like no matter what you posted, it like everyone's talking about Taylor Swift. And that's why on that day I posted a Taylor Swift thing. And it was like my most successful post on
We
Threads
all will
about,
be posting about Taylor Swift that week.
Yeah,
I
but that's
I
yeah.
think
what I'm
that if
saying is
you're gonna
that
run an influencer campaign, for example, I would not run it that week. You're gonna
Yeah.
be competing with so much noise. So the level, it's less up to me about releases and more about like what are you trying to do in the marketing space? Because if you're just trying to maintain momentum, get that release out there, keep talking about it. But if you're like, hey, we're gonna spend $50,000 to promote this song to influencers. We're also going to radio. Yeah, like you're going to be fighting against a storm of noise.
Yeah, and there was a similar thing that like I remember last year I was saying to people like you really don't want to release the week around the election this year. Like cuz it really was true when I saw it was that like even my friends who I said to them like you're not political at all, you never engage with political stuff. What happened to your algorithm? Then they're like it was all politics posting for like an entire week. It
yeah.
just went in because there was such a massive amount of it. And it really is true that that's what the algorithms do is they dominate with a monoculture, which is odd because we all complain that there's no monoculture.
And I think this is the salient point is that like even if you're doing harsh noise, like I guarantee you the harsh noise people will be talking about this. Even if it's in a oh, everyone sucks so much because they listen to Taylor Swift, blah, 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 blah. I haven't heard Lover. Like that's
I
just
can
gonna be
totally
what it is.
see not like metal people being like everybody's over there listening to Taylor Swift, but what I'm listening to and it's just screaming, right? So
Yeah.
even in that
It's
context,
just screaming.
right? I mean, it's going to be their pedestal to be like, but look how hip. I mean, this is probably what
Mm.
Jesse's going to be posting because he's the hip one.
I'm
It's just
also the
going to,
Taylor hater.
yeah. So it's going
Oh,
to be like Taylor Swift. What about this band nobody's ever heard of? Like that's going to be the post.
Just
yeah.
going off on Nina Geraci.
Nina
I love
Geraci.
Nina
I have
Geraci.
no
Nina
idea who that
Geraci
is.
is my generation's Charlie XCX.
Isn't Charlie XCX your generation's Charlie XCX?
I'm
Might be a
trying to
little older.
like build some Zoomer cred, Andrew.
He's trying to pretend he's more Gen Z than millennial.